First of all, I'd like to apologize to everyone in NA and everyone who was streaming on Twitch and was wondering why they were having such bad coin flip loss. Well, the thing is, I'm really sorry. I stole everybody's coin flip luck. I finished plus 30 in coin flips. And what did I do with that luck? I did absolutely fuck all, as you can see here. So probably after I'm done uploading this, I'm probably just gonna end it. As you can see, this score is nowhere near what I was aiming for. Not even close. You can see our global ranking. We're barely top 500, and like I might finish 420 if that might be the only cool thing about this. But yeah, this is not good. My last 3 Duelist Cups, I've gotten like above 40k. I've gotten 50k before. So to get anything on this and like this is not it. I promise I'll try to do better next Duelist Cup, just for myself personally. But yeah, the deck I played, as you can see from the stats, was Blue Eyes. I played exclusively Blue Eyes for nearly 300 games this Duelist Cup. And first of all, I'd like to say anybody dooming about Blue Eyes and how the Banlist hits actually hurt Blue Eyes in a significant way is like, you guys are tripping. It's literally a skill issue if you think Blue Eyes is somehow like bad. Blue Eyes was honestly everywhere. It was probably the most common deck I played against in the World's Qualifiers, which again is another. This is another Reddit / Master Duel meta L who, you know, all the people over there were saying, oh, the best Primite deck is Fiendsmith Primite. Well, Blue Eyes is done. Blue Eyes fell off. Blue Eyes is like nowhere. Come on, man. Like, if you've played it all in this World's Qualifiers, you would know that statement is absolutely not true. I saw maybe 2 Fiendsmith control decks the entire stage 2, but I saw probably like dozens upon dozens of Blue Eyes. Again, Blue Eyes was probably my most common matchup. So we'll see, like, once the top 100 data comes out, we'll see like how like just exactly how much Blue Eyes there were. But yeah, that's, man. And as you can also probably tell from my personal stats on screen, my going second win rate is absolutely abysmal. This might be, honestly, this might be the single worst format in Master Duel for going second that there's ever been. I can't remember it ever being this bad, and that's because all of the top decks right now are so strong and they're so resilient through hand traps. It's honestly, going second sometimes just feels hopeless. Aside from resolving a max C or sometimes a Fool loss, which, you know, I'll spoilers, I'm not even running Fool loss because Fool loss isn't even good against every top deck right now. It's not even guaranteed turn skip. Like against Blue Eyes, the Fool loss actually does nothing. It's a fucking upstart goblin. But yeah, because all of these decks are so resilient going first, you have to really sack and outdraw your opponent to even have a chance going second, it feels like. Whether you're playing Mermail or like Snake Eyes or Blue Eyes or Memento or like apparently Crystron as well. Crystron also plays through hand traps like butter. Like it's nice that like the card design economy is doing now is so that decks are more resilient to hand traps, so that you don't like auto lose like 1 Ash or whatever. But it's honestly, it felt like it's gone too far the other direction, where now like an Ash won't stop you, nothing will stop you, Infirm won't stop you. Your opponent activates Sang Engine and you have an Infirm in hand. You know damn well this Infirm is not gonna do jack squat no matter where you Infirm. They're always gonna get access to Fiendsmith combo no matter where you Infirm them. They're probably gonna have access to Snake Eyes combo because they have 4 other cards in hand. It's or Blue Eyes. Like Blue Eyes normal summons Effort Barrel. What the hell are you gonna Infirm? Like what like what you're gonna stop, you're gonna let them get Drill Beam, you're gonna let them get the field spell so they can normal summon a Sage, but then they have like 5 copies of Wishes and Maiden, so that no matter where you Infirm, it doesn't effing matter anyways. Like it's just unbelievably, like, I don't know. It might be a skill issue on my part because I know there's some people who had better than a 30% win rate going second, but I feel like for the majority of people, the coin flip matters so much in this. The coin flip seem to matter so much in this format. Aside from me, because I fucking suck balls and like I can't even maintain a good record even with the coin flip luck. Like the story of my Worlds qualifiers is that I went from, you know, day 1 I got the 30k. I was top 10 NA, okay, and then day 2, I dropped to 19k. The day 2 apocalypse, the day 2 Armageddon. So many people I talked to just like when day 2 hit, the entire thing went down in flames. I don't know what the hell happened there, but yeah, me and like a bunch of people just fucking dropped like a brick. And then I spent the rest of day 2 and a lot of day 3 trying to just get back to 30k. So at day 3, I was exactly where I was at the end of day 1. So yeah, that was nice. And then I got to like, I climbed here just to secure my top 500, you know, pity ranking, and then I just called it quits because there's no way in hell I was getting anywhere near top 100. But yeah, that's unfortunate. That's man, that wow. This is honestly what really disappointing experience for me. I can't say anything else other than like. That was a skill issue, and like I should have done better. I feel like I wasted a golden opportunity with all of these lucky coin flips. But yeah, so the deck I played was Blue Eyes, and yeah, Blue Eyes. This was a great choice. This was one of the best decks for this event, in my opinion. It's yeah, this deck is just really resilient. It doesn't lose to Max C. It's plays lots of non-engine. It plays lots of starters. Like you would think, like the limits to Maiden and Sage, Rise Blue. You would think that this deck has a short amount of starters. No, this deck still has tons of starters. This deck has 16 plus starters. This deck has more starters than a typical Snake Eyes build. More starters than Memento and Mermill. In fact, I think out of all the top decks, I think Blue Eyes has probably the most starters out of all of them. The only like the main issue with Blue Eyes is that sometimes you draw your bricks, because this deck plays some notorious bricks, and when you draw multiple bricks, it gets hard. But like usually this deck won't brick because like you didn't draw a play. It'll brick because you drew, you know, your bricks. So yeah, to go over the deck list, I think this is a pretty standard deck list for the most part. So like I'm not gonna spend too much time on like the standard stuff, like the stuff that's in pretty much every Blue Eyes deck. So you got 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon, 2 Sage, 2 Maiden, 3 Effer Barrel, 3 Wishes, 1 Roar, 1 Mausoleum, 3 Lordly Load, a Drill Beam, and then Majesty and True Light. This I think literally every single Blue Eyes deck plays these exact same cards. So, and like if you've been playing Master Duel at all for the past 2 or 3 months, you probably already know what all of these cards do and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's standard stuff. To make up for the consistency loss with the Banlist with Sage and Maiden going to 2, so there are a few options you can run. I just ran one of each of all of the consistency cards you could. I somehow ran one of each of all of the other consistency cards you could run in order to make up for the semi limit. So one of them is Bingo Machine Go. Bingo Machine Go, it's essentially just a 4 copies of Wishes. That's what it is for the most part. Most of the time, if you open Bingo Machine Go and you don't open Wishes, you're just gonna use Bingo Machine to search Wishes. Now this is something I picked up, and I probably should have picked this up earlier, but sometimes you want to use Bingo Machine Go to try and add a Blue Eyes to your hand. Because when you have Bingo Machine Go and Wishes, you know, the Bingo Machine, you already have the best search target for Bingo Machine, so like there's not real much point of having this. You actually need a discard card for Wishes. So if you don't have another discard, if you don't have a good discard, which, you know, if it's not like, if you don't have like Drill Beam with Effer Bear on the field, or if you don't already have a copy of Blue Eyes, sometimes you want to use Bingo Machine Go to add a copy of Blue Eyes to your hand. That way you can discard the Blue Eyes for Wishes, and that way you would have an extra pop on your Majesties. So yeah, that's after I already know that my opponent doesn't have to roll because I already searched before. At that point, I've oftentimes used Bingo Machine Go to try and sack one of the 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons in my deck to my hand, and so that I can pitch for Wishes. Now the funny thing is that every single time I tried to add Blue Eyes to my hand, every time I wanted Blue Eyes in my hand, the bingo machine go missed. It never added the blue eyes. I would reveal 2 blue eyes and it would give me a roar, it would give me a majesty, which is still fine, but like I wanted the blue eyes because I wanted the card to pitch for wishes, or like I would reveal 2 blue eyes and a wishes because I needed a card to discard. So like why not try to get a blue eyes to get an additional pop on majesty, right? And then I would just add the second wishes to my hand instead, and I would have the wishes discard wishes instead. So it's like bro, come on, like I draw blue eyes when I don't want to, and when I want blue eyes in my hand, I don't add it off the bingo machine. Like, come on, game, what the hell is that? But yeah, bingo machine go, probably the best consistency piece you can run to make up for the one less Sage and Maiden. Another card you can run is Period Rice Map. Period Rice Map just adds Sage. Easy, simple enough. Now, I will say I did lose the draw a couple of times after I got rolled after my Period Rice Map, so that is a weakness of this card. That being said, this card also won me some games that I don't think I should have won because people love ashing this card for some reason. I don't know why. Like when you don't get ashed on Period Rice Map, it's literally the same as just having another copy of Sage. Like there's no difference. The 4K life points, like who cares? That never, the 4K life points didn't really come up. But a lot of times people would for some reason ash the Period Rice Map because they want to deny you Sage for some reason, which is like, I'm not using Period Rice Map to bait out anything. Like, I'm using Period Rice Map because I have to use that at the start of main phase 1 as my first action. So like, when you ash my Period Rice Map, I could have, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other cards, or like if you include the Primite cards, there's like 14 other cards I could have that are starters that I didn't need with that, like the Period Rice Map. Like, I don't know, like I won pretty much every game my Period Rice Map got ashed for some reason, but yeah, this is another consistent piece you can run. Just you lose the draw like maybe like 5% more, but overall it's still just as fine. And then the next one is Neo Kaiser Seahorse, which is probably the worst of these because it's a normal summon-ish. Although it is funny because you can't special summon this if you control Blue Eyes, but keep in mind that every single line where you special summon Neo Kaiser Seahorse is kind of bad. The only decent line of Neo Kaiser Seahorse when you special summon it is with like Primer Dragon Effort Barrel, because if you open Effort Barrel, or like if you open Load plus Seahorse, you can get the seals plus Spirit, but you don't get to set the True Light, or you don't get to place the True Light because you have to use the Lordy Load to summon the Blue Eyes to get the Maiden out, because the Neo Kaiser Seahorse, when it goes to the grave, it dumps the Maiden to the grave, and then in order to get the Maiden out, after using Lordy Load, you can't use on-field effect monsters effects anymore, so that means you can't use the Maiden of White on field to get the True Light, so you just have to settle with Seals plus Spirit Dragon, which is still fine for the most part. Like that's okay. Like you didn't need the True Light, but it means you probably don't have Majesty, because that's usually what you set with the True Light. But yeah, the main reason to run this card is because this is a search target off of Bestial Magnema, because Bestial Magnema cannot actually add you your Blue Eyes engine. Bestial Magnema can add your Effort Barrel, and can add your Primate engine, but there's your starters and your Blue Eye starters are all spellcasters. You can add Blue Eyes White Dragon if you want, but Blue Eyes White Dragon doesn't do shit for you. You know, it doesn't start your plays. So like if you want Magnema to search your Blue Eyes engine, this is the only card you can add, because then at least you can add Neo Kaiser Seahorse, then you can normal Kaiser Seahorse, you can link it off into Spirit, and then search the field, and then dumb Maiden. Just by the way, Neo Kaiser Seahorse by itself, just a normal summon, gets you the full setup. It gets you to the Spirit with True Light and a Majesty set, so that's good. That's good enough. It pairs weirdly with other ones, like anytime you open Sage with Neo Kaiser Seahorse, you always want to normal summon Neo Kaiser Seahorse first, even though it has the effect where you can special summon it if you control Blue Eyes. That's bait. Like you don't ever want to like actually take advantage of that usually, because then it makes your lines weird. The only time you use the special summon effect is when you already have your engine and you have like something like a Magnema on the field, because like the most common use I've had for special summon Neo Kaiser Seahorse is when I searched it off Magnema off of like a Seals. Like the reason like Magnema is very consistent again in this deck, because you make Seals a lot, especially when you don't have when you don't have your Blue Eyes engine. Your Primate engine just makes Seals, and then Seals will summon Magnema, and then Magnema will search you Neo Kaiser Seahorse if you didn't have your Blue Eyes engine already. So with that, a lot of times you'll have a Abyssal Magnamut on field, and then you have a Kaiser Seahorse that you special summon, and this is a level 4 tuner, and Magnamut is a level 6 non-tuner dragon, so you can make a Baron with these two. It's like a very shitty Genroku, but it works. That play definitely comes up. I've made Baron with Neo Kaiser Seahorse plenty of times. But yeah, basically, Bingo Machine Go, Period Rise Map, and Neo Kaiser Seahorse are all the options you can run to make up for the deck's consistency, and they all work. They're not as good as just a hard opening Sage or Maiden, obviously, but they're fine. Like 90% of the time, they'll get the job done. It's fine. And between all that, this deck runs like, I believe, 16-ish starters, like 1, 2, 3, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, this deck runs 16 starters, so that's fine. 16 1-card starters, that's perfectly fine. And if you draw multiples of them, then you get to play through even infinite hand traps. So, yeah. And that's pretty much the only interesting part of the main deck, which is like these 3 card choices. And then the extra deck. So the extra deck, you have a lot of space. I hardly used any of this stuff. So like 2 Tyrant Dragon plus 1 Neo's ultimate. This thing that you equip off the wishes. So like you don't need to run 2 Tyrant, but 2 Tyrant came up multiple times for me, where a lot of times you would just use your wishes in grave turn 1 to put the Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon into the grave just as free target protection because it's free. So like why not, right? And then just like if you want to make a Tyrant Dragon later on, you can, and if you run 2 Tyrant Dragon, you can still equip the Tyrant Dragon with a second wishes and then still hard make Tyrant Dragon. Or a lot of times I actually did hard make the second Tyrant Dragon using Roar's Engrave effect as well, which, by the way, if you didn't know, Roar has an Engrave effect to fusion summon as well. You can't use it on the same turn you use Roar, so most people don't. It usually doesn't come up, but it is a possibility, especially if you do Roar turn 1. So yeah, I definitely did use 2 Tyrant Dragons. It was more useful than something else I could have used for the 15 extra deck slot. The 2 Spirit Dragons, obviously, 1 Lightstorm Dragon, just auto win backdoor matchups, 1 Baron. So you make Baron again either with the Neo Kaiser Seahorse play plus the Magnamut, or you make Baron with you just make a Baron with a level 1 tuner plus a Spirit Dragon. That's very simple. Or now you can go Lightstorm Dragon, try to clear some back rows, and then with an extra level 1 tuner, you can then use the Lightstorm Dragon plus the level 1 tuner into Baron. So that you clean up your opponent's back row, then you make a Baron on top of it, and that usually seals up the deal. That cleans up games. So yeah. Then 1 Ultimate Spirit Dragon, you only ever need 1. I never needed 2. Even when my opponents summon Unicorn, people usually don't Unicorn rip the Ultimate Spirit Dragon, because like at that point, if you get to that point, it's already if you already got the Spirit Dragon, then something probably went wrong for your opponent, and like you can win games without this card anyways. Like I most of the time I don't even summon this out when I make my Spirit Dragon. Like it's just a threat of this being in there. So yeah, definitely only need 1 of this. A Typhon, be careful. It can get purged. Oh yeah, I didn't mention the hand trap lineup, but like the hand trap lineup is like Valor, Ash. Valor very important because it's a level 1 light tuner. So I normal summon Valor to go into Spirit infinite times. So that's why I'm still running 3. It comes up. Also, you search multiple Valors with Sage and Switches, so you just want to have maximum Valors. That way you always have an extra Valor to search just in case, so that you always have an extra interruption for free. Imperms and Purge. Imperms pairs well with the Purge. The Ash Blossoms, the Magnamut. Be careful with Magnamut. You always use Magnamut before Purge. Don't like don't Purge before Magnamut unless you just topped up the Magnamut. Like Purge turns off your Ash and your Magnamut, so you gotta use these before you Purge. And yeah, Magnamut, not really much of a hand trap. Like Magnamut is like the worst hand trap in the deck. the main reason I play this is because it's a summon off of seals. That's like the main thing. Okay, that honestly, like you could cut the Mystical Magnamut. Honestly, like I actually don't want to draw this card. Magnamut was oftentimes my discard for wishes because Magnamut was the worst hand trap in my hand when I had a hand full of hand traps. But yeah, just because you make seals a lot, especially when you only open Primite cards and no Blue Eyes cards, which happens quite a lot, you're placed to make seals, and then seals will summon Magnamut as mentioned, and Magnamut can search the Neo Kaiser Seahorse, which gets you your Blue Eyes in. So I still think this is fine to run at 1. I probably wouldn't run other Bystials because they would conflict with Purge too much. And then the other one of hand traps are Ogre and Nibiru, so just Ogre and Nibiru. Maybe you could make an argument that Nib is better than the Ghost Ogre, although Ghost Ogre came out clutch for me a lot of times, especially when you pair Ghost Ogre with other hand traps. Ghost Ogre is the best way to hit the Millennium engine, so I hated ashing and I hated purging Millennium cards, but ogring them was fine because it got the body out. It got them out of the spawn trap zone, so they couldn't be used for Doom Dragon or couldn't be sent for your Snake Eyes or Die Bellstar. So yeah, that was fine. And Nibiru is Nibiru. Nibiru never does anything by itself. So like Nibiru has to be paired with another hand trap to do anything. So you could probably run more Nibiru if you want. And yeah, obviously the Maxi. I didn't run Fualos because Fualos, there's way too many Blue Eyes. Fualos is like the worst hand trap to ever play against Blue Eyes ever. There's several lines where you can do the full setup and set up a Spirit Dragon for one Fualos draw. It's absolutely terrible. And also, I played a lot of Tenpai. Side note, Tenpai is like a free matchup for this deck. I think I had like a 70% win rate at least against Tenpai, even though Tenpai is known for sacking opponents. But yeah, Fualos is also obviously terrible against the Tenpai matchup. So it's like 2 out of like the top like 6 matchups you'll face is like Fualos is terrible against. So that's why I didn't play Fualos, and I don't regret it. I never missed Fualos really. I didn't feel like I missed Fualos that much. And yeah, Typhon, as mentioned, Typhon, don't try to do Typhon after you purge. That's not gonna work. Just remember, purge turns off your Typhon. That's the only card in here that purge turns off. Well, I guess and Trishla, but we'll get to that later. 2 Spirit of Ice and Blue. The third one came up once, but I misplayed that game, so I probably didn't need this. But yeah, 1 Seals, 1 Lina. Also doesn't come up too often. A lot of times you don't even use Lina to like steal your opponent's monster. You use Lina to like crash into your opponent's monster that you can search a maiden with the Lina. So yeah, Lina crash is like a real play if you have the Nibiru token and you don't have engine. But yeah, this came up a few times. And then the extra 2 slots. So I know some people, if you played against Blue Eyes in the Duelist Cup, some people were playing Shen Shen. Shen Shen is definitely a possibility. It's just a generic level 9 monster that's a Naka Cosmos Floodgate. You can play this. It's also a safe play against Branded, because against Branded, you don't want to make double Spirit Dragon because Super Poly is a card. But if you make Spirit Dragon plus Shen Shen is a light psychic, so there's nothing they can Super Poly there. So your board is safe from Super Poly, and you also macro their field. So that's the Branded matchup is honestly in your favor for the most part if you don't misplay. So already if you Spirit Pass plus like a bunch of Veilers, oftentimes does it as long as you don't play into Super Poly in the first place. So it's fine. But like Shen Shen is a possibility to run in the extra deck. I ran the Crimson Dragon and Trishla. I did not run the Cipher Dragon. The Cipher Dragon literally was not necessary a single time. I made it once for the memes, and then I cut it because I realized that shit never came up. But Trishla does come up a bit more often. Now, here's a tip. Do not tag Spirit Dragon with Trishla. Okay, Spirit Dragon tagging is not a synchro summon, so you're not gonna get Trishla's effect if you tag with Spirit Dragon. You have to get Trishla off the Crimson Dragon. But I think that's a better use of double Spirit Dragon. You know, using double Spirit Dragon to get a Trishla off is, I think, better than Cipher, because you get to banish, like you banish 3 resources from your opponent. That sounds way better than just a random monster to get off the Cipher. Okay, so yeah, the Trishla, I didn't make it though, to be honest. Like these 2 slots could have been anything. Like honestly, I never found a use for the 13 for 15 extra, for the 14 for 15 extra deck slot that's Trishla plus Crimson Dragon occupied, because like I never made these a single time where it felt necessary or where it even felt like it was the correct play. Yeah, so you can run like an SP in here if you want. You can run a 3rd Spirit if you want. You can run the 2nd Seals. There's a bunch of options. When we get the new Ancient Fairy Dragon, we'll probably run that instead of this. But yeah, that's the deck list. God damn, I said I wouldn't be rambling on for too long, but I rambled on for way too long for this deck list. Anyways, let's get to some of the more interesting games out of like the near 300 games I played. I picked out some of the more interesting ones. So hopefully you'll agree with me there. So this replay is just to show off how dumb Blue Eyes is and how resilient it is to hand traps. So this hand, right? Effort Barrel, Sage, Primite, Lordly Load, 2 non-engine. Okay, 3 engine pieces plus 2 non-engine. watch my opponent, okay? My opponent Valor's my effort barrel, okay? Cool, okay? I hard draw up the Lordy Load anyway, so I activate Lordy Load. It gets purged, okay? So I link this off in Spirit Revives of Blue. Spirit adds Mausoleum. I activate Mausoleum and I normal summon Sage, and I use Sage and it gets Valor. So probably should have Valored the Spirit Revives of Blue there, buddy. You probably shouldn't have let me get the Mausoleum and get this extra Sage body on the field. But it gets Valor anyway, so no Maiden for me. I'm gonna be Maidenless this turn. But that being said, I can just Mausoleum, target Spirit, dump Blue Eyes, and then Spirit, summon back the Blue Eyes, and then oh, would you look at that? I made a Blue Eye Spirit Dragon. I set a purge. So yeah, I made we got to Spirit Dragon through 3 hand traps. And we have follow-up with the Primite Effort Barrel, and my opponent has 3 cards in hand. Very nice. Very man, this, yeah, that's one of the benefits of playing Blue Eyes. Sometimes this deck literally feels unstoppable. So my opponent, unfortunately, we're playing the Blue Eyes Mirror Match, and when you go second in the Blue Eyes Mirror Match, it's awful. So case in point, True Light for Wishes gets purged, so I have my own purge. And yeah, purging the Wishes and ashing the Wishes is like the best play you can do. My opponent purged my Sage to deny me access to Maiden, which is fair, but my opponent is now down to 2 cards. And end phase, you go into Lightstorm Dragon, pop their back row, and now my opponent has 0 cards, and I have yeah, after 1 turn, my opponent has 0 cards and I have 4 cards in hand. Where did all the cards go? Yeah, pass back to me, and the Effort Barrel adds back to my hand. So now I have 6 cards. I have 7 cards to my opponent's 0 cards. What the hell happened there? Well, the blue eyes happened. Yeah, drop Magnum, but this is, yeah, the rest of this match is a formality at this point. I don't even go for game because like at this point I'm not even thinking too hard. I just set up Drill Beam, Seals, Purge, Valor, adds Kaiser Healer as follow up, and my opponent has literally nothing. So yeah, Period Rice map gets purged again. Yeah, that was a little BM, but yeah, sure. Yeah, add the Effort Barrel, and this is the grinding with Blue Eyes, because as you can see, the Effort Barrel adds back to my hand every turn. You can just make a Seals intermittently in the middle of that, and then the Seals bounce will then get you a Magnet, will get you more follow-up. Also, Back Chest Blue Eyes animation. I saw this animation so often, I actually stopped attacking with Blue Eyes to end games because the animation took too fucking damn long, and I was getting tired of seeing the animation so much. But yeah, Blue Eyes. Okay, so on to more interactive games, I promise. So this hand is both good and bad. We opened the Primite engine, but we also opened 2 bricks. And honestly, Primite Drill Beam is like a semi-brick, because this card we can just easily search it. So like 3 suboptimal draws, which is you know, typical Blue Eyes. So sometimes you just draw your bad cards. But yeah, we're gonna normal summon Effort Barrel. We're gonna set Lordy Load because we already have the Drill Beam in hand. We're gonna Lordy Load, add Effort Barrel, which are probably give away that I have Drill Beam in hand already. But this is still nice because having the Effort Barrel in hand means my Drill Beam is live already. I don't need to get a Blue Eyes monster on the field, which is cool because with this play we're gonna Mausoleum dump Blue Eyes. You don't need to do this. I just do it to search, you know, to try to bait out more Valors or more interruptions if my opponent had them. And we're gonna make Seals, and then we're gonna set Drill Beam plus Majesty plus True Light. So this is still a very good setup. No Blue Eyes engine, but honestly, the Primite setup by itself is honestly stronger than a Blue Eyes engine, in my opinion, because you have access to Drill Beam and you have access to Seals, which will get you follow-up, which will guarantee you Blue Eyes engine off of the Magnet that you summon off of it, and you have follow-up off of the Primite Effort Barrel, which is honestly like the biggest part of this is that your opponent can break your board, but if they don't set up anything special, the Effort Barrel comes back and then the Drill Beam comes back, and they have to deal with Effort Barrel, Drill Beam every single turn, plus the Seals follow-up and all of that stuff. So yeah, and keep in mind, this is still 1, 2, 3, 4 interruptions. And because we normally you would have to Seal summon Blue Eyes if you want to make your Drill Beam live if you don't have another Primite card in hand. But because we have another Primite card in hand, we have Drill Beam live immediately, and the Seals can summon Magnum for follow up instead. But yeah, our opponent has a pretty good hand on their own right, so they're gonna Engraver, add Tract, and then I'm gonna use Tract. I Ash to Tract so that I try to get them off of Fiendsmith bodies. I know it's not gonna stop them, but I have more interruption coming up. And then I'm gonna normal summon Ash, and then I Drill Beam the Ash. And I'm thinking I'm thinking I Ash the track and I drill beam the Ash. Like that's pretty good, right? And then our opponent activates Sengenjin. So they're gonna special Sengenjin, and I let them summon a Sengenjin because they're gonna add the Golem. And then my idea was once they use Golem, I can use Majesty because I have 2 pops in the grave, or 2 blue eyes in the grave. I have 2 pops, so I can pop both Majesty and a Sengenjin at the same time, so I don't get punished by, or I can pop the Sengenjin and the Golem at the same time, so I don't get punished by a hard draw Golem. And my opponent enters battle phase, which is smart, bait out the seals, but then I use seals, and then they're gonna call by the seals, which is like, honestly, it's fine. It's fine. It denies my follow-up, but I'm perfectly fine with trading seals for a call by the grave. And then they're gonna attack, and then I use True Light to summon back the blue eyes to try and block damage. Maybe this was a mistake. I probably should have just ate the 2750 direct, and then like kept my options open with True Light, because I should have used True Light to set a more follow-up instead of just summoning back a blue eyes to body block. So that was probably a misplay. And then my opponent activates Golem, and then here's where I use Majesty to pop 2, so I pop Sengenjin and I pop Golem. My opponent's hand was fantastic, by the way. They pushed through 4 interruptions, and they have 2 cards in hand, and they use their normal summon, and then they have Dramatic Chase, and here they go Dramatic Chase, and then they have Diabellstar. So their hand was Sengenjin called by Engraver, Ash, Dramatic Chase. I mean, that's pretty fucking good. That's like 5. That's like Called by the Grave puts 5 live engine cards. Like, that's pretty ridiculous. It pushed through my board like nothing. Now I had 4 interruptions. Now I have 0 interruptions, and now my opponent still has Snake Eyes combo because they can go Oak into Ash. Okay, so let's see what they do. So they go into Fiendsmith. They have the Fiendsmith line as well, because, you know, why wouldn't you have Fiendsmith? Like, you have 2 bodies. Why wouldn't you have Fiendsmith engine, right? And then here comes the Fiendsmith stuff. So they go into Sequence, and then Sequence, put back 2, go into Lacrima, summon back the Engraver, and here they can go into Promethean Princess, because Promethean Princess is fucking generic, and Promethean Princess brings back Oak, equip Sequence, Oak sent the Sequence. I love that you can do that. Flamberge, for some reason Flamberge scale the Snake Eye Diabellstar. That's oh yeah, because they haven't used the Snake Eye Diabellstar. That's fair. And then they use Flamberge to bring back Oak, and then Ash, and then they add back the Flamberge to hand, which thankfully they didn't have an Ash lost on their own to add the hand, and then Flamberge, or Oak, sorry, for some reason, they go -1 body with the Ash to summon the Poplar from deck, to go into Phoenix, and then they use Phoenix to pop my True Light, which is fair, because that was actually a smart play, because they probably saw that even though they could break my board, they couldn't kill me because they used the battle phase already, and I have follow-up for days with True Light plus Effort Barrel, so they probably wanted to get rid of the True Light to get rid of follow-up. And this is where I made the mistake, because if I had held the True Light and I just took the 2750 directly from Sengenjin, I could use True Light to set wishes from here, and then I would have follow-up with the Blue Eyes engine on next turn. Instead, my opponent gets to pop my True Light now, and my True Light goes away, and my Blue Eyes goes away. So this True Light gave me nothing. So that was a misplay on my part. And I get to draw a card. And then they can use Snake Eye Diabellstar to scale the Poplar, and then summon out the Doom Drag. And here I don't think they play Photon Lord, so they go into Zombie Empire, which this is a very late Zombie Empire. They're literally not gonna get any value out of this, because they already literally did every play in their deck. So yeah, they summon out a Magnamut though. The Magnamut at this when I saw them mill my Magnamut and then summon my Magnamut and use Magnamut's effect, I was about to crash out. Like seriously, I was like what in the fuck? And then end phase they asked Flamberge hand, so I was like, oh okay, that's your target. I swear to God, if they added the Druze Worm, I was gonna fucking lose it, but instead the only dragon they had was Flamberge. So thank God. You just gotta deal with Appaloosa, and the thing is with Appaloosa is Appaloosa is not very hard to deal with. Okay, it's a bit annoying, but actually that was a very good draw, by the way. So I'm gonna add Effort Barrel to hand, and they know I have another Effort Barrel in my hand already, so that's why they don't Appaloosa it. It's smart, they pay attention. So I'm gonna normal summon Effort Barrel, use the effect, and that was bait. That was complete bait. I don't need to set another Primite. I don't know why they did that, to be honest, because I know I had an Effort Barrel in hand already, and they know I have Drill Beam in graves. I don't know, were they playing around the second Drill Beam? I guess that's fair. Some people do run to a Drill Beam. I'm not one of them, so I'm just gonna set the Drill Beam now. and then I'm gonna use Mausoleum, Normal Summon, Sage, and here I was trying to game them because they're at 4K, and I was like, surely I can go for game over 2 monsters when they're at 4K and they have a small Appaloosa, right? Surely. So Appaloosa negates my Sage, and then I use Effort Barrel to summon out my Blue Eyes, and here I use Maiden to summon out Maiden, and here I'm like going to Lina, and here I realize I fucked up because nice zones, loser. Wow, what a fucking brainlet. What a fucking 5-head play. Summoning the Blue Eyes White Dragon in my fucking Lina zone. Jesus Christ, I can't even bait out the Appaloosa. That was fucking stupid as shit. And then what else is stupid was that didn't matter because they Nibiru'd, which is honestly I was fine with that because I'm like, so you Nibiru yourself after you've gone through your entire extra deck. What is left? It's just the Fiendsmith cards. That's fine. I can deal with the Fiendsmith cards. And then end phase, yeah, I have a Nibiru token and I have a Drill Beam and a Dream. But my opponent has nothing, I guess, because I don't think they run 2 Oak because they have Ash, Oak, Poplar. They have every Snake Eyes cards either in their hand with the Flamberge or in their grave. So there's this original Symbol Spoil. I don't think they end up using because I don't think they have another search target for the original Symbol Spoil. So that was lucky on my part that they didn't run 2 Oak and they don't have another follow-up. So instead, all they have left is the Fiendsmith engine. And Fiendsmith engine versus Primite engine. Let's see who comes out on top. So they're gonna go with the SP Little Knight actually. SP Little Knight is gonna target my Drill Beam, which I just let go because yeah, if you're wondering what happened, so yeah, I let them kill my Drill Beam, and then they realized that they have no more plays because they used their Engraver on the SP. They didn't have access to another Light Fiend because they already used their Engraver Engrave. So now they couldn't make a sequence. So now they literally couldn't out the Nibiru token. And then the Nibiru token next turn I was gonna switch the Nibiru token into attack over the SP for game. So yeah, they were about to lose to the Nibiru token that they gave me. But yeah, they should have entered battle phase and attacked over the Nibiru token first. Don't know why they didn't do that, but I probably would have Drill Beamed it anyway. So like it's yeah, it's fine. So, but yeah, that was that was an unexpected end to a pretty crazy game of misplays. I'm sure more misplays on my side than my opponent's, but we got there. All right, so here's a game where we're going second with one impermanent hand, one imperm and a dream, and my opponent opens Millennium cards, and I'm thinking here I'm thinking I'm fucked because one imperm does not do shit to a Snake Eyes deck that opens Golem usually, that opens a Millennium card usually. So here I'm gonna see. I'm just gonna pray, and I was expecting to leave honestly after halfway through my opponent's combo. So my opponent's gonna go Sang Engine, plays the Fool Loss, then they go into Moon Close Heaven, which this is weird because I'm like, wait a second, you didn't go Zombie Vampire? Interesting. Okay, so now they're gonna go Moon into Requiem, and now they're gonna go Requiem into Fiendsmith. Okay, so Lacrima. I talked it off this entire time. I actually did not want to inform any of this stuff, so like all of this stuff is bait right now. They go Sequence, and I honestly I let this go. I let this go because I'm like, what are you gonna make? Desiree like this early? No, hell, you're definitely not making Desiree, right? No, they summon Lacrima, and then Lacrima adds Engraver, and then they're gonna use Engraver to add a Tract. And here I'm trying to just see what they're cooking. If they make Apple, like it sucks, but I have to day out the Apple because I have Drill Beam on the Apple, and I can just and I have Imperm, so I can hand trap whatever the hell they do after the Apple anyway. So like I don't care if they made Apple in this instance. They're gonna use Tract, add Lurie, pitch Lurie, and then Lurie summon itself out, and then they're gonna go into Sprint. And I'm like, hold up, wait a second, wait, this isn't Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes does not play Sprint. Hold up a second. So now they're gonna go Sprint, and then I'm gonna Imperm the Sprint. And what happens next? A deck that opened the Millennium Engine just passed to an Imperm. So if you're wondering what deck this is, it's not Sprite. This is not Sprite. This is a 90% chance this is White Forest, because the White Forest line goes Sprint to dump a Stellar, and then They use tracked engrave to make Rexermende and all that stuff. You know that I made a video about that. But yeah, don't know if that was don't know if doing this line was the correct play, because you opened the Millennium cards and you lost the one hand trap, which that should not happen for any deck. So yeah, that's wow. I'm just like glad that happened to me, because now I get to do my blue eye stuff, and the only interruption they have are just hand traps, which this deck struggles to play in the boards. But hand traps, yeah, hand traps. What are hand traps? So yeah, normal Sage, add Maiden of White, and then add Mausoleum, and I'm like, my opponent didn't interact with me at all. So I now know they don't have Droll, so I'm gonna use. I used Bingo Machine Go, and I tried to sack. Honestly, I low-key tried to sack a Blue Eyes to my hand, because I have a Drill Beam and Blue Eyes in my hand already. So I wanted to get like a discard potentially for Wishes, and if I had 2 Blue Eyes, I could discard 1 Blue Eyes, and then I still have the second in my hand at all times for Drill Beam. But it's whatever. We had Majesty to hand, that's fine too. We're gonna use Maiden to place True Light, set the Wishes, and then I'm gonna use Wishes. I'm gonna discard the Blue Eyes right now for and turn off my Drill Beam for a slight second, but instead they just ash the Wishes, which is fair. But at the same time, there's nothing of value was lost from ashing the Wishes. I just wanted the Wishes engraved for Time Dragon. But yeah, I'm gonna summon back Blue Eyes, and then summon back Maiden, and here I'm gonna activate Mausoleum, target Maiden, chain Maiden effect, so that way Maiden can revive the Sage, and then the Mausoleum can put the other Blue Eyes engraved. And here, I'm going to use Wishes on the Blue Eyes, and we're going to use Drill Beam. Before I link off before I make a Time Dragon, I'm like, I might as well get value out of this Drill Beam, right? So I'm just going to Drill Beam the Temple, even though it's useless, because you're going to see in a moment why Drill Beaming the Temple was useless in the first place. I probably should have Drill Beamed the Sequence. That was this play. Like, I know it sounds weird, but Drill Beaming the Sequence was 100% correct. That way they wouldn't have access to the Sequence anymore. So yeah, that should have been the Drill Beam target. But yeah, we're gonna go Tyrant, and we're gonna enter battle phase, attack over the Lacrima, Tyrant, reset the Imperm, and then Lacrima is gonna burn me, which I don't really care. Then attack over the Sprint, and this is why notice my opponent's at 2k life points, so they cannot activate a they can't even activate a Millennium monster anymore. So that was why getting rid of the Wedju Temple didn't really matter as much, because it's not like they could use Sanguine or Golem anymore anyways. But yeah, and now we go into Spirit Dragon, and here I'm gonna link. I'm gonna synchro off the Spirit Dragon and the Maiden, because I have 2 level 1 tuners on the field. I have an excellent level 1 tuner. We can make it Baron, and now I can use Baron to pop their back row, and our back row is Morian. They held on to Morian this entire time. Wow, that takes discipline. Now I'm surprised they didn't book my Maiden when they saw I was about to make. I guess it's fair. Just book the force out the Baron anyways. But yeah, this reason why Baron is so good in these situations when you have the excess bodies, because you can clear their field obviously, and then set Majesty, and then on my opponent's turn in the standby phase, because you extend the Baron negate, you can summon back the Spirit Dragon. So now you have the Spirit Dragon interruption as well, and my opponent has Fiendsmith cards in grave, so I know the Spirit Dragon interruption is going to be live, so it's going to guarantee value. So yeah, the Baron just traded for their card, and then it got me in the Spirit Dragon interruption back anyway, so that was pretty nice. And then they have a Sang Engine, which they can't use, so they're just gonna go into Doom Dragon, and then whoopsie, try to target my Blue Eyes cards with Neil when I have Neil Ultimate Blue Eyes engraved. That's a big no-no. That's yeah, so many people lose to targeting my Blue Eyes monsters when I have that engraved, and then they just lose a card for no reason. But yeah, they were gonna lose that game, because we have the Spirit Dragon still. We had Majesty plus Imperm plus Valor plus the Spirit Dragon to check their Fiendsmith cards, and they had 2 cards left, so yeah. So here's a game where we're going second, and we only open 1 Imperm again, and my opponent opened Sang Engine. And at this point, I was like, God damn it, this Imperm is not gonna do anything, is it? So yeah, my opponent goes Sang Engine, and then they add Heart of the Blue Eyes. And I was ecstatic, because I'm like, holy shit, I might get a turn. And you know the game's gone off the rails when I'm excited for to play against Millennium Floodgate versus Millennium Snake Eyes. The fact that the Floodgate deck is the preferable matchup for me when going second. over Snake Eyes, like something's way wrong with that statement. But yeah, they're gonna add the Millennium Ankh, and we're gonna use Ankh, and unfortunately Imperm kind of sucks here too, because I can't deny them their Unstoppable Exodia set, and then they activate the fucking deck lockdown too. Why not, right? Just set 4 plus deck lockdown. Just average fucking Exodia hand. Now, unfortunately for Exodia sucks versus this card right here. Okay, this card is Primite Drill Beam. So my opponent flips anti-spell, thinking they're smart. And first I use Imperm on the Unstoppable Exodia, and that baits out the negate, because, you know, of course they would negate it, right? And unfortunately for them, I have the Drill Beam punish. So now before the anti-spell resolves, I add the Drill Beam, and I'm going to target their Unstoppable Exodia. I could target the anti-spell, I could target the deck lockdown, but I'm like, if I get rid of this Exodia, I have infinite turn, because it also turns off their board wipe, and they have no follow-up. So maybe I can live. So yeah, then they flip Macrocosmos. So just want to point out that my opponent, now my Drill Beam is gone too. So that was very stupid. So now I can't get my Drill Beam back. And by the way, Macro anti-spell deck lockdown. Average fucking Exodia floodgate player. Man, yeah, how fucking shit, I guess. I'm gonna normal summon Effort Barrel, and I'm gonna set Drill Beam, and I'm gonna set Lordy Low, which I can't activate, and they don't even know that I don't even play a second Drill Beam. So I'm like, I thought I was cooked at this point. I was just trying to draw into something, because my opponent also not only does my opponent have no follow up, even if they had follow up, they have 5 backdoor. They literally cannot use a single Millennium monster. I don't think there's a single card in their deck that they can play besides like a piece of Exodia that they can like normal summon or set. But like, I mean, realistically, they can't activate Millennium cards. They can't use spell trap cards. So yeah, pass back to me. I draw a Purge. I normal summon Effort Barrel. Effort Barrel, set another Lordy Load, and I use Imperm on the Macro cost on the Sang Engine to turn out the Macro Cosmo. Then I use Maiden. I use Maiden to set the True Light. Then I'm gonna use Primate Effort Barrel, and dog, like the Ash Blossom was like, really, the Ash Blossom was the top deck too. Not only are you playing Floodgates, but you're also playing Hand Trap for some reason. So yeah, I was trying to use Effort Barrel to send the Blue Eyes to grave, and then revive the Blue Eyes with True Light, and then the Maiden of White would come back, and then with Maiden of White plus Blue Eyes, I could make a Lightstorm Dragon and pop their back row. Instead, they Ash my Effort Barrel, so that was rude, and yeah, that fucking sucks. And now, I can set wishes, but I can't activate wishes this turn, and now their Macrocosmos is back online, so now it's annoying as shit. Thankfully, their deck lockdown dies, and thankfully they didn't draw any more Millennium monsters. So yeah, it goes to end phase, my turn. I go True Light, set a Roar, and now because it passed back to my turn, I can use Roar and True Light and Wishes both on this turn. So first I'm going to use Lordy Load to add another Effort Barrel to hand. Then I'm going to use Wishes, and I'm going to dump the Maxi, because, you know, I can't even use it, and then they have a second Ash Blossom. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, but the top decks, the 2 top decks in a row were Ash Blossom. Though Ash Blossom was like pretty much the only card you could have topped that you could actually use in that situation. But yeah. Now I'm going to use Roar though. Thankfully my Maiden was engraved from last turn after I Impermed the Macro, so I could summon Blue Eyes, then I can summon the Maiden, and then the Heart of Blue Eyes engrave effect too, annoying as shit. So now my Blue Eyes goes bye-bye, and now my Maiden comes back, but my Maiden doesn't do anything. So I'm going to normal summon the Effort Barrel to set another Lordy Load. I triple Lordy Load, by the way, and I'm going to summon a second Blue Eyes White Dragon from my deck. And I gotta be really careful, because as soon as this Blue Eyes goes to the grave, I'm going to have no more Blue Eyes for the rest of the game. Because I already used Roar, and my Blue Eyes is already, my first Blue Eyes is already banished. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna use True Light, I'm gonna set Majesty, and we're gonna pass. That's right. We're not making shit. I'm not even making Lightstorm Dragon, because I can make a Lightstorm Dragon, but then I can't get over the fucking Sang Engine, because Lightstorm only has like 2700 attack. So instead, we're gonna just sit on the Blue Eyes, and we're gonna play Majesty plus Blue Eyes Control. So my opponent enters battle phase, I'm going to use Majesty. I'm going to Majesty pop the Sang Engine so that they don't have a Sang Engine, and then they just give up. They just give up. They're like, they were probably dead next turn, because they were like, they didn't top deck a Millennium monster, so they were actually dead next turn to damage if they didn't have a single monster to chump block with, which thank fucking god they didn't draw another Ankh or anything. But yeah, that's Blue Eyes does have a good matchup against Floodgate decks, but the reason it's good against Floodgate decks is for like all the reasons that were not shown in this in this game. It's like Drill Beam is the reason, and my Drill Beam did not out a single fucking Floodgate that entire game. So here's a game where we're going second, and what a hand! Oh baby, a triple! I'm so glad I went second in this game. If I went first, I would have probably just scooped it up immediately, because Ash plus Imperm already does not stop most decks, and then the fact that I have 3 dead cards in hand, man. But my opponent is playing Blue Eyes and they lead with Maiden, so this is like the one start where actually this hand is good against, because my opponent is going to set Wishes and then use Wishes to discard her own Ash Blossom. We just got 4 Ash Blossom on screen right now. Have you ever seen this many Ash Blossom on screen at once? But yeah, we're gonna Ash to Wishes, which is the general target you want to Ash, but they're a cycle when they normal summon a Veiler, and then hard open Mausoleum, and the Mausoleum send the Blue Eyes, and then they're gonna use to summon the Blue Eyes back with the Spirit, and then they're gonna summon out the Maiden. So they still get the Spirit, although honestly, both this is like a typical Blue Eyes game. Both of our hands select complete ass. I opened Blue Eyes plus 3 Ash Blossom. My opponent opened hard open Mausoleum plus hard open the hand that lost the Ash. So yeah, they managed to get the Spirit Dragon through my Ash Blossom and Wishes by normal summoning the Veiler. It was probably worth giving up a Veiler for Spirit Dragon is probably worth it, in all honesty. But yeah, I top deck Bingo Machine Go. This card saved me so many fucking times. So yeah, now I use Bingo Machine, and Bingo Machine's gonna add me my Wishes, and I pray to God I don't get drolled. Thankfully I don't get drolled. But they do swap into, they try on the Spirit Dragon because they want to deny my Wishes. So this tells me that they don't have an Ash Blossom. But also yeah, now they're gonna maxi me, and joke's on you. I got way more Ashes where that came from. Like your maxi will never resolve against my hand. But yeah, now that I realize that my only play is Wishes, and they made Ultimate Spirit, you know what the play is now, right? Normal summon Ash Blossom. The things that we do. My opponent normal summon Veiler. I one up them. I normal summon Ash Blossom in response. My hand trap. My normal summon hand trap is better. So now you know why this is great, because Typhon prevents my opponent from activating a monster with 3k more attack, which means that this Ultimate Spirit Dragon cannot negate my Wishes anymore. So now I get to activate Wishes, and I get to add a Majesty and a Maiden of White to my hand, and now I get to use Maiden of White to set a True Light, and True Light can set a Roar, which I can't use. But yeah, now I have Imperm plus Majesty, and my opponent's Ultimate Spirit Dragon, it gonna die, and the Spirit Dragon cannot revive. It cannot revive the Spirit Dragon because they can't use the effect because it has more than 3k attack, even in the grave. So now the True Lights, they're gonna use True Light to summon back Blue Eyes, and then summon back the Maiden. And here is unfortunately for them, that's not gonna cut it, because stand my phase, we're gonna use Majesty, non-targeting pop. They're gonna use True Light, and they're gonna set a card. But I set the Imperm column, so now I get to negate I target the Maiden of White, and their Maiden of White gets to summon back the Veiler, which is very funny. But unfortunately for them, at the end of the chain, it means that the True Light gets negated, which means they don't get the set, and then the Majesty is just gonna pop the True Light, and then their entire field is gone. Even the Veiler that they revived for free off the Maiden. And they're gonna go end phase, and then end phase I'm gonna use True Light, which my True Light gets Ogre too, so like we're just nothing is being established this game at all. So yeah, my fucking True Light goes away, and now my Typhon unfortunately also dies. So yeah, we're just neither of us have any cards left. Fortunately for me, it's my turn, so now I get to activate this Roar. Thankfully, this Roar that I set off the True Light is gonna summon the second Blue Eyes from deck, and then it's gonna summon back my Maiden, and then my opponent realizes that now that I have the initiative and I have the turn player priority after going second, That I don't, when I say turn player priority, I don't mean the rule in Edison or like in old Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean like I have the turn advantage now because I get to initiate my plays. I get to make a Spirit Dragon while my opponent has nothing. So yeah. Okay, so this is probably the dumbest combo line I've ever done in my life. So here we open Neo Kaiser Seahorse, Bingo Machine Go plus Primite Lord plus double Primite Lordy Load and a Roar, which is like not exactly what you want to see. Double Lordy Load plus Roar, but this is way too many blue eyes. This is way too many blue eyes in my opinion. But we'll see how this works out. So I'm gonna use Lordy Load. I'm gonna add Effort Barrel. And it gets drolled. So yeah, people are saying this deck dies to droll. So no, this deck dies to droll if I open Period Red Snap or Bingo Machine Go. And any other opening droll, watch what happens when my opponent drolls me, okay? So I'm going to normal summon Effort Barrel. Effort Barrel is going to set the Drill Beam, so I get a Drill Beam access anyways. I'm going to use Roar, and this hard drawn Roar pays off because now I get to summon Blue Eyes from deck. And now because I control Blue Eyes, I get this special Neo Kaiser Seahorse. Like this is like the few times where it's actually good to special summon Kaiser Seahorse. And here I'm gonna link off Effort Barrel plus Neo Kaiser Seahorse into Seals. And now I get to use Seahorse to dump the Maiden, and now I get to use the Primite Lordy Load. Lordy Load is gonna summon the second Blue Eyes from deck, and then because the Blue Eyes was summoned, now I get to summon the Maiden of White that was dumped by the Neo Kaiser Seahorse, and now I get access to Spirit Dragon. I couldn't use Maiden's effect because it was we summoned Blue Eyes off the Lordy Load, so we couldn't use Monster's effect on the field. But yeah, through a droll, we got the Seals Spirit with a live Drill Beam. Now we don't have any other non-engine in hand because we didn't draw any. But this is not bad through droll. And honestly, this Blue Eyes White Dragon could have been literally anything else because we already had the second Lordy Load in hand anyway, so this Blue Eyes doesn't do anything. But it's a bluff. Maybe if my opponent thinks they get rid of my Blue Eyes, it turns off my Drill Beam. But yeah, they're gonna start with Golem, and here this looks weird, but I've been using Seals to block the Millennium monsters because you just can't let the Millennium cards resolve. When the Millennium cards resolve, they get 3 bodies or 2 bodies if you stop them later on. But if you stop them at any point later on after the initial one, they just get a free body for free. Like it's not really that. It doesn't feel good. So now I'm going to summon out Magnamut using Seals, get the Magnamut Surge, and now they're going to use Triple Tactics, which here we're going to have to unfortunately Drill Beam the Triple Tactics. So yeah, that's unfortunate. That Tactics hurt a little bit. And now they're going to normal summon Snake Eyes Poplar, which unfortunately this is here I get desperate. Okay, so I'm like I stop my opponent's Millennium monster. They use Droll. They use Triple Tactics already. They use Link Reroll. And I was just desperate to stop the OSS from resolving. So they're gonna use Poplar, and here I negate the Poplar with Spirit Dragon because I was gonna tag out the Spirit Dragon anyways. So might as well get used out of Spirit Dragon's effect before, and then they chain Maxi, which this was a mistake. Why did you not chain Maxi to my Seals effect? What the hell was that? Did you forgo or something? Probably forgo. So they lost out on 1 draw. But yeah, I get to summon out the Spirit Dragon. And the Spirit Dragon, I'm going to negate the original Symbol Spoils with the Spirit Dragon. That was the initial plan. So put them on nothing. They used their normal summon. They use Golem. What else could they have in hand? They have a Fiendsmith card. Okay, so unfortunately now they have to deal with Fiendsmith cards, and I don't think they can kill me through the Fiendsmith cards. So they'll probably break my board because Fiendsmith cards are balanced, but they probably won't be able to OTK through a 4K Spirit Dragon defense. And now they're gonna go, Lacrima, send Engraver, put back up the Lurie, the same old Fiendsmith stuff, and they're gonna use Requiem to target the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon because unfortunately I didn't go through Wishes, so I don't have the targeting protection. So bye my Ultimate Dragon, and now they're gonna make Lacrima summon back the Engraver, and here they're gonna go into Peruvian Princess. Peruvian Princess brings back the Poplar, and then they're gonna equip to the Sequence, which is a bit strange, but yeah, they're gonna hack over my board, attack me for 24. Main phase 2, they're gonna link Poplar plus Lacrima into Nightmare Phoenix. This entire Peruvian Princess line was literally to co-link the Nightmare Phoenix, so they're gonna Nightmare Phoenix pop my Lordy Load, which jokes on them. I got a second Lordy Load in hand, so I'm not stressed about this. But yeah, they get another draw off the Phoenix, and they're gonna link into Sunlight Wolf, and they're gonna end on Sunlight Wolf with Raven Princess Pass, and I'm gonna add the Neo Kaiser Seahorse to my hand. And on my turn, the Effort Barrel is gonna come back to my hand as well, and I draw a Purge. So, yeah, they cleared my board, but their board was their end board is really shit, and I got 5 cards in hand. So, I'm gonna normal summon Effort Barrel, put the set the second Lordly Load, and then Drill Beam, reset the Drill Beam, and then Bingo Machine Go is gonna add me my 3 wishes. Pray to God I don't get trolled, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you know, you do get trolled, so yeah, that was unfortunate there. Now I just set my Purge because my opponent right now, they don't have their follow-up is OSS, the original Stimulus Spoils, which I have Purge for. So which means that the only other way to get follow-up is their Fiendsmith cards, which I can deal with because I have Drill Beam, and then their Sunlight Wolf, which the Peruvian Princess, if I ever special summon, they get the Peruvian Princess back, and then the Peruvian Princess is their follow-up. But as long as I don't special summon, they never get the Peruvian Princess back, so I don't have to worry about that. So now I have 2 interruptions to cover their 2 engines for follow-up, and now I just have to pray that their top deck isn't crazy. But yeah, they're gonna use Engraver, summon back Engraver, which I just let it go. They're gonna go Engraver. Maybe there's an argument to where I should have just Drill Beam the Engraver right away. That way, they don't have Engraver access, and they couldn't make Requiem, and then they would have a low Life Fiend count in the grave, even if they somehow got to another Life Fiend. But I let them go into Requiem first, and then their Sunlight Wolf and Requiem. I don't know what they're gonna add. They use Sunlight Wolf to add back they're gonna summon Engraver, and the Sunlight Wolf is gonna put the Nightmare Phoenix back in their extra deck, which, you know, fair. And they're gonna equip Engraver, and then gonna send the Engraver for Die Bellstar. So their top deck was a Die Bellstar, which that was crazy. That was crazy. So yeah, their Die Bellstar is gonna set Wanted. Fortunately, their OSS is in the graveyard, so I have no fear of what they can set off the Die Bellstar. So that's still fine, unless they play Azamina, which most people aren't anymore. So yeah, now they're gonna go into Sequence, and then when they use Sequence effect, that's when we're gonna Drill Beam. So yeah, that covers their follow up. So now their Fiendsmith engine no longer is a threat this turn, and yeah, they're gonna use OSS for follow up. But unfortunately for us, we have Purge, so I'm gonna Purge the OSS, and now they're gonna battle attack over the Effort Barrel, which doesn't do anything because the Effort Barrel just adds back to my hand anyways. But yeah, adds back to me. I draw another Purge. This is the exact same hand. This is literally the exact same hand as last turn, which is like pretty funny. And now I know they don't have a Droll, but first I'm gonna reset the Drill Beam for free. This is why the Prime engine is so fucking good. Just follow up for days, and then add Majesty, add Sage. I'm gonna link off into a Spirit because I never actually used Spirit before, and they're gonna use Peruvian Princess, which I'm completely fine with. Like, pop my Sage, pop my Spirit Revives Blue for all I care. I just want the Field Cell so that I can normal summon the Sage. So yeah, I'm gonna use Lordly Load, add another Drill Beam to hand because, you know, or add another Primite Effort Barrel to hand because why not? Normal summon the Sage, add Maiden, and then Maiden set True Light, and then gonna link off into another Spirit, and then they're gonna use Spirit's effect to summon back the Blue Eyes, and then Maiden's gonna special itself back, and then I'm gonna use special summon Kaiser Seahorse, use Wish's effect on the Blue Eyes to go into Tyrant Dragon, enter battle phase. I don't have game. There's probably a way I could have made game, but honestly, this is already game. Like, what's my opponent gonna do to this? I'm gonna attack over, use Tyrant Dragon. Tyrant Dragons, yeah, they already like Purge, Majesty, Drill Beam every turn. Meanwhile, my opponent is on no Sequence, no OSS, and no more. Even they top deck a Snake Eyes card, it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's Blue Eyes. Ironically, struggles to OTK sometimes, but because you get to recur your interruptions basically every turn for free, it doesn't matter if you can't OTK them because you can just set up your same 3 or 4 interruptions every turn to the point where you have an infinite grind game and their opponent just won't be able to do anything anymore. So this is a game where we're playing against Tenpai, although I don't know that yet, but yeah. As I said before, Tenpai is a pretty easy matchup because honestly, the main thing that matters in the Tenpai matchup is just what non-engine you have. And this is a deck that runs 3 Ash and 3 Purge, which is basically 6 cards that auto win versus Tenpai and auto beat Kaiman. So yeah, I can make my board, and my board gets broken every single time, and it doesn't even matter most of the time because I have enough non-engine to beat the Tenpai matchup, regardless of what they do to me. But yeah, anyway, so here we're gonna lead off with Maiden. I'm gonna Maiden set True Light, and then True Light I'm gonna set Wishes, and then Wishes I'm gonna discard Bingo Machine. So I don't use Bingo Machine to search Blue Eyes because I want to play around Droll potentially, and I add Majesty plus Sage, and I normal summon Sage. And then honestly the add Majesty was a bit greedy because watch this, I'm gonna normal summon Spirit of Eyes of Blue, and then the Spirit gets Veiler. So now I don't have access to a Spirit play because I don't even have access to any Blue Eyes White Dragon anymore. So this Majesty doesn't even do anything. So if I wanted to be safer, I could have played around it by searching Roar. That way, if I search Roar, I would still have Spirit Dragon. But honestly, it doesn't quite matter again because we're currently playing as Tenpai. So they're gonna first action Heavy Storm, and then Heavy Storm is gonna wipe everything, wipe my board, and I only have 3 hand traps left. But my opponent has Sang and Kaiman, and no matter what combination of starter they have, this can beat it because I have Ogre for the Kaiman, and then if they normal summon Genroku gets beat by double Veiler. So yeah, now they don't have anything. So now it's just a matter of eventually I draw Purge, and as long as I have this card in hand, I will never lose to Tenpai, especially since their Kaiman summoning is gone. So it's just a matter of time until we basically win because I have more starters than Tenpai does. So I'm going to normal summon Veiler. By the way, Veiler is a starter, so Veiler is going to go in Spirit, and then Spirit is going to add another one, and it gets Veiler again. So still don't have access to Blue Eyes. If I access Blue Eyes, you know, the game would have been over on the spot, but instead they have more hand traps, but it's fine because again, they're mathematically we have the advantage. They're going to pass back to them. They're going to not draw a starter because it's Tenpai and they don't have very many. Then they're going to draw a face Perulia, try to catch me. Joke's on you, I don't have any more normal summons anyway, so now I draw Ash. By the way, when you have Ash plus Purge, you should almost never... This combination of cards will never lose to Tenpai. Like, if they summon Chandra, Veiler it. If they summon any other Tenpai card, you have Purge plus Ash. So like, literally, their opponent has 0 chance of winning at any point from this point forward. And they draw a card. They also drew 0 cards off the Perulia, by the way. And yeah, pass back to me. I draw Wishes, so I'm gonna Wishes. I'm gonna pitch Veiler because it's the worst one, and I add Roar, and they don't have the Ash for it. So unfortunately for them, they didn't draw an Ash. Now I'm gonna normal summon Sage. Sage add another Veiler, so I get the Veiler back that I discarded anyways. Activate Roar. Roar summon out Blue Eyes, and then Roar target the Blue Eyes, and then make Tyrant, and then I'm gonna use Spirit to summon back the Blue Eyes, and then I'm going to use Maiden to summon back Maiden, and then Maiden effect, I'm going to set the True Light. At this point, I'm like, if your opponent has, if my opponent has Nibiru even, I generally don't care, but I'm going to go into Spirit anyways. I'm going to enter Battle Phase and attack, and then Tyrant is going to reset Majesty. Now I have access to a Blue Eyes, and yeah, my opponent, they got nothing left, so yeah, we're going to Blue Eyes for game, Bat Chest. But yeah, if my opponent drew Tenpai cards running, they still would have lost because of Purge Ash Veiler. So yeah, it's kind of how a lot of Tenpai games go. They wreck your entire board because it's Tenpai, and then it doesn't matter because they just lose to your non-engine afterwards. All right, so here's another match versus Tenpai. My opponent won the coin flip, and I chose to go second. And here, so I played this hand out a bit weird. So I'm gonna normal summon Effort Barrel, place Lorelilo, that this is normal. Lorelilo, add Drill Beam, then I just link off into Spirit, and then Spirit adds Mausoleum. And at some point, I realized that this is Striker Tenpai because they have not hand trapped me yet. So of course, if they haven't hand trapped me by this point, 90% chance they're Striker Tenpai. So my goal shifts to trying to make a strong board. And I'm gonna place True Light, and then I'm gonna go Spirit, summon back the Blue Eyes, and then I'm going to summon back the Maiden. And here, I link off the Maiden to Spirit of Eyes of Blue, so this is a little strange. So I'm going to go into Seals, and then I'm going to use Lorelilo to summon out the Blue Eyes, place the second Wishes, activate Wishes, dump dump Veiler to add a second Veiler and add Roar. And here I'm gonna use Wishes on the Blue Eyes, and then I'm gonna go into Spirit, and then I'm gonna pass on Seals, Majesty, Spirit, Primate Dropping. And you might be wondering why I didn't go double Spirit Dragon. Well, quite honestly, it doesn't fucking matter whether in this matchup, it doesn't matter whether you make double Spirit Dragon or whatever the hell, because they're gonna out your board anyways. That's what Striker Tenpai does. This entire board is gonna be gone. Okay, like the only thing that matters in the Tenpai Striker matchup at this point is like your hand traps. And these hand traps, unfortunately, these hand traps lose to Veiler, or these Veilers. It loses to what's it called? It loses to Sangan Sunday and it loses to Kaiman. But it beats even Genroku, because if they Genroku, you can just Veiler the first Genroku, they're gonna chain the Genroku, and then you can just chain the Veiler, and then you can just Veiler whatever they summon with Genroku. So double Veiler still beats Genroku, so they still need to hard draw a Tenpai spell to win. And here I'm gonna True Light summon back the Blue Eyes, and then you know, just to get the Drill Beam live. But honestly, it's not gonna matter, because I'm gonna Drill Beam the Lightning Storm, and they're gonna drop with the Lightning Storm. And fun fact, because the droplets sent the Lightning Storm, the Drill Beam will not resolve. So instead, I use Seals to dump them, to put the Mausoleum back to my hand, just to save it as potential follow up. And then I tag out the Spirit because I know my entire field is gonna get blown up. But my Seals at least provides follow up. This is why like Seals is like somehow preferable, maybe preferable to double Spirit, because at least the Seals gets you follow up. So I get them summon the Magnum, and then the Ultimate Spirit dies, and then there's also an argument to just making the Ultimate Spirit directly so that you get an Omnigate up, because now I get to summon the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, but the Spirit Dragon does not really do anything in the Tenpai matchup anyway, so you should probably just tag out into Ultimate Spirit to, you know, right away, just get the Omnigate out. But yeah, my opponent is going to use Into the Void, and they're going to use Engage, and they're going to add Horn Drones, and then like Engage again, like Jesus Christ, open double Engage. They have a 6-card hand, Horner Drones, summon token, go to Kagari. I let this go. You have to be disciplined. You just can't don't hand trap anything but the Tenpai cards in this matchup. That's how you beat Striker Tenpai. You just save your hand traps for the Tenpai cards, and they can't kill you. So yeah, they're gonna add Engage again, add a Widow Anchor, draw another card, and use Widow Anchor on my Spirit, which I'm gonna negate, but they have a second Widow Anchor because they have a 7-card hand, so of course, so they probably do have an out, and then they normal summon Perulia. My opponent did not draw a Tenpai card. Wow, Tenpai is such a good deck, guys. It's they activated Engage 3 times on me, plus Into the Void, and then they didn't draw a single Tenpai card. What a great deck Striker Tenpai is. Now they're gonna go into SP, and they're gonna SP try to banish my Effort Barrel, which I'm gonna Veiler, and they're gonna SP, and then I'm gonna Veiler again. And because I don't need to save these Veiler for jack shit anymore. And my opponent, fun fact, did you know Into the Void has text? Well, my opponent didn't. Boy, you know, I know Tenpai players like get a bad rap, but you got games like that where you know you can set spell cards, right? Like they could set spell cards, but because they're not used to playing that single game that goes past turn 2, that they didn't know Into the Void has a drawback. So I've seen like this isn't the only time this happened, by the way. I've seen multiple Tenpai players discard their whole hand for Into the Void because they forgot. They forgot. So, like they weren't gonna win anyways because I had Effort Barrel follow up plus 5 cards in hand. But I mean, that you know, if you're gonna go out, if you're gonna lose, at least go out in style, right? So yeah, usually here at the end of the video, I'd say that I'm really disappointed and that I'll try harder and do better next time. But honestly, the last 2 times that I've said that, I've just done worse and worse each successive DC. So you know what? I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna do it and just do it. And hopefully we'll get the top 100 results soon. And then shortly after that, we'll get the fucking ban list. And oh boy, man, there are some cards that need to be hit that should have been hit a long time ago, but are still here. But we'll get to that in a different video.